Greetings, friends. This is Dr. Richard Marks, and welcome to A Murder Most Foul, The Life of a Hitman, a reading of my unpublished novel, In Chapters. I hope you'll enjoy it. Chapter 32, Then, The Quarter. Awoken with a kiss as her long hair fell across my face like a dark rain. "Let's go. We can make the 9:30 ferry." "Yes, ma'am. Coffee?" "Not this morning. Once we get to the Canal Street landing, we'll have breakfast at Café Du Monde. They're not my favorite beignets, but since you're a tourist, we kind of have to go there. Now get dressed, you bum." I sat up and got my first look at her. She was wearing a silky sundress, which left little doubt of her physical attributes, and showed more than enough of those amazing legs. "I'm going to look like a bum next to you." I had ditched the Goodwill suit outside Vicksburg and just had my sport coat, jeans, and white dress shirt, my typical travel ensemble. It was comfortable, and you could go for days not needing to wash jeans. On the other hand, the shirt could be sink-washed every night and be dry by morning, and the sport coat concealed a multitude of surprises. "Don't worry, I'm buying you a suit today. Something that will knock 'em out when you wear it to work in old Youngstown. We're going to the finest men's shop in all Louisiana." We hadn't talked about money, and frankly most of our activities since we'd been together were absolutely free. When I'm on a contract, I take precautions should things go sideways. I always have enough cash on hand to be able to bribe myself out of a tight situation. Never had to. Or to buy an old used car, drive home, and then dump it in the right neighborhood. I've done that 3 times. My jacket has a pocket sewn in containing $5,000, so frankly I can buy my own suit. I don't say that to be an asshole, but how much could she make? I decided to play along. I didn't want to prove Petrarca right so soon. As we left her house, an old black woman was coming up the stairs. "Billy, this is my neighbor, Miss Kelly." I extended my hand, but the wrinkled woman just stared at it for a moment. "Miss Kelly, it's a pleasure to meet you." As I looked into her eyes, I swore I'd seen her somewhere before. Remembering faces is life or death in my line of work, but I just couldn't place her. She let out a laugh and shook my hand. "I feel I already know you. You lovebirds be making some sweet, sweet music last night. I'm happy Miss Gabriella got her own self a man who seems to know his way around. You better put a gree-gree on this one, Checatane." She let out a laugh and gave Gabs a big hug. "Mr. Weebling and I are spending the day in the quarter," Gabby said through her blush. "Y'all have a fine day, Mr. Weebling. If any ruffians tell you they know where you got your shoes, don't pay 'em no mind." "I'll follow your advice, Miss Kelly," I said. "Damn you in the Big Easy now. Please call me Harriet. You take good care of Miss Gabriella. She's an angel." "Oh, Miss Harriet, you take care. Do you need anything from the quarter?" Gabby offered. "No, cher. You young'uns have some fun and raise just a little hell." "It was a pleasure meeting you, Miss Kelly," I said as we started to the dock.
Ou pran bon Sven nantigasson ça, Gabi. Li sont en coulis te pran Sven réel non ou.
"You take good care of that boy, Gabby. It sounds like he took real good care of you last night."
Prosodiem pral maman sans me baille même pas pral la gueule non je aime.
À bientôt, maman.
she called after us. "What was that?" I asked. "That's Nola, baby. A little Cajun, a little Haitian Creole, and a whole lot of lovin' life." "Miss Gabriella, you never cease to amaze me," I offered. She replied in a voice that would have made a dead man hard. "Oh, mon chéri, you ain't seen nothin' yet," she purred. The ferry ride across the Mississippi was magical. There was a morning fog on the river, and the St. Louis Cathedral loomed above the mist like a Monet. Gabriella, standing against the rail of the ferry in her brightly colored sundress against the gray fog and the steeple of St. Louis, would have made a beautiful photo if I had had a camera. As it was, it remained in my mind's eye until the day I died. Here's a strange aside. Weather. In Nam it was hot and damp as hell, but due to the lack of clean, fresh water and poor nutrition, many of the Vietnamese people had a very sallow look, dull, matte skin. It was so unattractive to the well-fed Americans that many of the female entertainers, and yes, I'm trying to avoid being pejorative by saying entertainers, took to oiling themselves for a bit of shine. New Orleans is a hot and humid city. It's not Saigon, thank God, but it is seemingly always hot. And this all leads back to Gabs. I assume it was because of the heat, but her skin had this kind of sheen, almost like she was glowing. I really can't put into words how extraordinary she looked. As we got off the ferry, Gabriella walked in front of me, leading the way up the ramp. The ticket taker, an ancient old black guy, was looking at Gabriella as she walked up the ramp. As I passed him, he raised his hand for a high five. "Respect, brother. Much respect. As we walked arm in arm along the riverfront, I couldn't help but notice that we got our share of looks. Or should I say Gabriella got her share of admiring looks, while I got my share of people obviously thinking, "What the fuck is she doing with him?" looks. I realized that the anonymity that I had done so much to maintain was disappearing, like the morning fog. We sat in Jackson Square eating our beignets. "I've got powdered sugar all over me. Lucky I'm wearing a white shirt." Gabriella took a handful of napkins and brushed the sugar off my lap. "Shit, what are you trying to do, get me arrested?" "I just wanted to make sure that thing still worked," she said with a devilish laugh. Obviously it did, and we wouldn't be going anywhere for a few minutes. "Rubenstein's opens at 10. Let's head that way as soon as you're able," she laughed. "By the way, I'm so wet right now, I wish you could take me right here on this bench with old Hickory watching. You could give me one of those slow pokes you're so famous for." As she said old Hickory, she ran her hand over my pants. "Holy shit, you're the devil. I can't believe you remember slowpoke." "Darling, I remember everything. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times," she said with some sadness. I tried to lighten the mood. "Which of those applies to me?" I joked. "You, sir, are the epitome of the worst of times. But in your defense, you have acquired some nocturnal skills somewhere along the line, and you really know how to put that beautiful Robert E. Lee monument in your jeans to good use," she giggled. I laughed, realizing that we'd be sitting here for a few more minutes, eventually several minutes, and thinking lots of thoughts about the upcoming NFL season, carburetors, ballistics, anything but how beautiful she is. The way her back curves into her ass. Shit, there I go again! A time later, we walked up Royal Street to Canal. "This is my favorite street. It's so beautiful." It was beautiful, but the sights and sounds of the French Quarter couldn't drown the sounds of all the necks popping as virtually every head swiveled around to look at Gabriella. As we approached the street corner of Canal and St. Charles, Gabby said, "The restaurant we're going to this evening requires gentlemen to wear suits and ties, so I'm buying you a linen suit. It's the best for the New Orleans heat. Rubenstein's is the finest haberdashery in New Orleans." "Haberdashery? I've never been haberdashed before," I joked. "Well, Hayseed, you're in the classiest city in these here United States, so prepare to be haberdashed," she giggled. "If they require gentlemen to wear suits, I won't need one," I smirked. "Oh, that's right, 'cause you're a fucking animal," she accused. And we kissed like we weren't on the busiest street corner in New Orleans. Thank you for listening to A Murder Most Foul, The Life of a Hitman, copyright 2025, as read by me, the author, Dr. Richard Marks. A new chapter will be posted each week. A Murder Most Foul is produced and recorded at Batavia Studios in Jakarta. This podcast and A Murder Most Foul, The Life of a Hitman are solely works of fiction and any similarities to persons living or dead are merely coincidental. The music used in this podcast is the second movement of Franz Schubert's Piano Trio in E-flat, Opus 100. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please feel free to email me at drrichardmarx@gmail.com. That's drrichardmarcs@gmail.com. If you enjoy the show, please like and subscribe to the podcast and tell a friend. Thank you, and until next week, be more than you seem.